Welcome to the You Are a Force podcast channel, your go-to space for real stories, fearless dreams, and unstoppable women rewriting the rules. And the force behind this podcast. Here is your host, Binoli Botadara.
Hi everyone, welcome to You Are a Force, where we celebrate women who are bold thinkers, leaders, creators, and not just shaping industries, but quite literally shaping the future. As Warren Buffett says, that price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And today we're speaking with someone who knows exactly how to spot value with grit and gut. She is a dynamic executive director of formidable Surana Group of companies, but her vision reaches beyond traditional businesses. A bold force in the startup ecosystem in India, she's actively backing high growth ventures with her VS Capital Ventures and also VinVin Situation Fund. She is also a person behind WinSpace, where she's supporting founders, helping them thrive opportunities, and also she's pioneering herself into the gaming destinations through Gamers Guild, sorry. And I'm sure you must have seen her in Lion's Den in Geo Cinema as a sharp-witted, very pro investor. And she's also a yoga instructor and a Kathak dancer. I'm not sure anything if she cannot do, but it's my absolute honor to welcome someone who has been awarded as Young Female Entrepreneur of the Year and so many other awards to come. And maybe she received also very prestigious Women of the Year or some awards. So it's my absolute honor to have visionary, fearless, none other than Vinita Surana. Vinita, thank you so much for being on You Are a Force.
Thank you so much, Binoli. That was quite an extensive introduction, and it's really nice to hear that. But you've been super kind, and I really like the concept of You Are a Force. I've seen a couple of snippets of what the work you've been doing, and I must say, we are on the same mission of
Absolutely.
spreading that women, when empowered, can do like beautiful things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I always, because there were so many reasons I wanted to do it, because when I was growing up in India, in a business family, and in Gujarati community, girls really, I mean, not Gujarati, but in general, if you're ambitious, you're looked down upon and so on. And then I've heard so many no's in my life, more no's than yeses. So I genuinely think that, if I can make any change by just putting the right, messages out there, and if anyone's life, if I can change, then why not? If I've got an opportunity to create that platform, and it is so organic. And that's when I saw you, I think speaking with someone on YouTube or maybe one of your podcasts, and I could just immediately resonate because I could see that spark also in you. So I think you're right. I think that really connected both of us. Yes.
Thanks a lot, and keep up the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting this, and thank you for being the part of my journey as well. And together we are actually, building something even bigger than what we know. But before I jump into everything, Vinita Surana, I have a very burning question. If I have to give you 100 million today, but you can't invest into a startup, nor gold, nor real estate, no equities, where will you invest and what will you do with it?
I think I will invest in people. A lot of people around me in communities and my social media, I think by default, people think I stand for women empowerment, and I am the voice of aspiring women, what aspiring women would see themselves in 10 years from now. But I feel like the men are equally talented.
Yes.
So I would invest in a community where we can bring out the best in people, whether it is through mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional intelligence, if you can know why you are here on earth, what's your purpose, if every person can know that, I think they've reached their highest potential.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I did not think this way till you actually said, and it's so powerful. But no, I hope one day I can give you that, or maybe we can do it together. But let's just hit the rewind. And before you became like a sharp-eyed investor with the knack of actually spotting gold in the rough, tell me about your early possible unglamorous start of your career where you did not have this worldview right now what you have, but what was that one moment or any other time, if you remember, which actually was not really like today, but which actually made you who you are today and how you look at the world or investments today?
So, I have read and studied a lot of successful people and a lot of um, enlightened people. And I see this common thread that their greatest growth comes from their suffering. And I don't think my story is anything different. I do feel I'm very evolved, very mature, and very stable right now. But this wasn't the case 10 years back, 5 years back, and the moments that have shifted me, I wouldn't say there is one moment, but every time I've had a fall, every time I've had a failure, every time things did not go in my favor or people didn't believe in me, so every time I was hit against the odds, I think another version came out of me out of nowhere, which even surprises me. And that's why I believe so much that everyone has so much of inner potential and they don't know till they have tapped into it. And definitely, my lowest days have been the most remarkable moments for my biggest growth.
Yeah, I think when you look back, you realize that, wow, how did I survive that? Or sometimes, one door closes, but there are so many other opportunities or small windows open, and that can actually take you somewhere. And I really think that every experience teaches you something or makes you stronger, good or bad. No, and absolutely. We all, and like you said, everyone's success has some chapters which were so tough and maybe the rock bottoms, and that actually lifted them
Mhm.
up.
I can actually share with you. It started from my early days when I think I was just finishing my 12th standard and I came back home, and as any like teenager, you're very confused about what
Yeah,
stream that you have to go
correct.
to, what's the next chapter of your life. And I was talking to my family members for advice, and my grandfather said that women should not um, should go into more pretty or subtle
Art and
way,
yeah, fashion.
art or home science. At
Yeah,
that point, home science was pretty popular.
yeah,
And I don't know, in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I need to do engineering. Like, I need to like
yeah.
just defy the glass ceiling. And I didn't even know these terms at that point.
Oh,
I didn't know
sure.
there is something like a glass ceiling, or you need to question the status quo or the norm or what has been said to you.
Mm,
But I think that really defined who I am, because every
mm,
time somebody said, you can't do this, like my father said, do not try for an Ivy League. And that's exactly what I went and did. And I graduated from Wharton. But at the point when I was going through the process, of course, nothing is
yeah.
set in stone, and I don't know if I'll hit success.
No,
There have been many
absolutely.
failures too, but I think I give myself that opportunity to really questions other people's limitations on me.
Mm.
And that really kind of brings out another version of me.
Yeah, no, I totally relate to that because I've also been told because I did not join my dad's business and I started doing a job and everyone's like, but why are you doing a job? Like you don't need money. Why are you not joining your dad's business? And I'm from Ahmedabad and I moved to Bombay for work. That again, every single soul on this planet, except few of my friends and my mother, everyone said that, you're making a mistake, come back. Like first 5 years of my 10 years Bombay stint were made hell, like every single time. But every time people were saying no to me, I think it gave me a courage to actually just go for my dreams. I did not really, in fact, like you said, when someone tells you no, I think that makes you stronger and helps you go on the path of your dreams even more. That rather than just getting disappointed and, oh my God, they said no, my dad said this, my mom said this, or my friend said this, that no, it doesn't matter. Just listen to yourself. No, I understand that. Speaking of Wharton, which is very, very impressive, you have gone to Wharton, but you've also sat in boardrooms battles, or you've also seen the sharp spreadsheets. But you've also talked about the vibe check in most of your conversations. So while you are evaluating the founders, so I want to know that. Can you tell us that apart from the pitch deck and financial models, what is that one hard analytical decision which you actually look at in a founder, apart from just looking at the numbers, while you're making the investments?
That's a great question. This is something that can only come through experience and not through intellectual reading or sitting in classrooms or even sitting in an Ivy League school, but it's the subtleties. In the subtleties, when people go above and beyond, when they show you excellence in small things, be sure that they are going to excel at big things. And I think that is definitely my first vibe check. And also, it just accelerates, or it's just like a home run if those subtleties are converted into some kind of loyalty towards a brand. To give you an example,
Yeah.
say cricket in India, it's almost like a religion, or
Yeah.
football in another country, or the Olympics. When a person identifies with something and really goes above and beyond, whether it's a sport, person, religion, business,
Mhm.
or passion, there is something very magical that happens to the person, because the creativity that flows when you are committed to something is just another kind of creativity.
Mm, mm,
When
mm.
creativity is mixed with loyalty, you have a gold mine. And so for me, that is my vibe check. And it is very difficult to say it intellectually, but it's very easy to catch it experientially.
Okay, that's amazing. So, are there any other, apart from just being creative or celebrating the small nuances, any other superpowers you check in a founder when you before
Course,
spending
I
the?
mean, if you go into the more serious context of it, they should be an expert at the industry. In the world where we live with, artificial intelligence and so much of machine learning. If a founder doesn't know the depths, the widths and the depths of the industry, then it doesn't help too much. They must be very good at problem solving, very good at creating a product for half the price of their competitors.
Hmm.
These are the competitive advantages
Yeah.
that will make a company profitable. And for me, I do not believe in valuations when the PAT is negative, which a lot of companies, especially in the IT industry,
Yeah.
it's like that. The tech, IT, the futuristic industries,
Sure.
because they are betting on something 10 years from now, whether it's EV or any kind of future tech.
Yeah.
But I feel like the day you go into business, within a year, if you don't have your pat positive, then you're not a business person. You're a very good storyteller, and you're a very good visionary, and you're a very good thought leader. To be a business person, like if you go into the history of where business came from, business means profits.
Mm.
And so for me, that is another vibe check, that is the founder conscious of the profits, or is he just going on a spending
Yeah.
spree
Yeah.
to create a brand?
Yes.
So I would
And are they,
definitely put.
yeah, and are they just, living in their own illusion that they're the best, or are they actually want to, make money? And also sometimes, when someone else has given you money, you take it for granted if you've not had your own skin in the game. I think that also sometimes does happen that, I have dealt all my life in public markets, but I do know that, there are some investors who take money for granted if someone else has invested also, and they don't really look for the profits immediately.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And and you're right. Delusion is a part of being an entrepreneur because you have to see what is not possible today, or you have to create markets who don't know what they want as of today, whether it's a product or a service. But you also have to be pragmatic. You
correct.
also have to be getting the money in, getting the revenues and getting your expenses down, being great at your operations, and like the basics need to be
Yes.
right
Yeah,
for
yeah.
any founder. And if a founder comes to me with the red flags, with these kind of words, I would love to brainstorm with you for my business idea, or I'm like testing something out. I don't even think they make it to the first round of our due diligence team,
Yeah.
because if you don't know what you want, then how are we even supposed to accelerate your
Correct.
journey?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And also, what I've noticed that if you do not, if you keep investing into bad ideas, or I can't say bad, but what I've noticed is the good money going to the bad money, because you don't really see if there's a problem, but you think that you'll be able to turn around. And we've seen so many groups and empires actually collapse. So some part of the companies do well, but that profit goes into a loss-making company. So you're actually, burning both sides of the balance sheets, and then, so I think you cannot get emotional when you're a founder. I mean, yes, you have to be pragmatic, like you said, or passionate, but you cannot get emotionally involved into that company or the business that way. No, I agree. And also, I want to understand, Vinita, that there are a lot of Cinderella stories, and I'm sure you have backed a lot of big wins. But I'm sure you would have been stung also a few times. So, can you give us maybe your best investment idea? What was the reason you invested, and what was the worst investment idea, and what did you learn from that painful lesson?
I think one of my best investments, which I did not know at the point, but looking back, was definitely the gaming industry. And this I'm just saying because of two things. The founder was extremely honest. Uh, like, and this is what makes, like, when I say subtleties, like, this is what, like, if somebody is, sending you bills which they totally don't need to, which are such minor bills that they don't even affect your balance sheet, and as a founder, it's okay for them to kind of put this in their own personal expenses. When they are very transparent about that, when they're not putting it in, when they're paying that out of pocket, you definitely know that there is some kind of ethics going on there, which is like a winner, like a
Yeah.
game changer, winning ethic. At the same time, the margins of that industry, especially the time we invested and we entered that industry, were very, very good. So one of my best investments definitely has to be into the PC console gaming industry,
Okay.
which you also said it in my introduction, the Gamers Guild, very, very profitable business. And one of my worst decisions was when I entered, and it was much, much earlier. I think probably one of my first few investments. I got sold on the founder and the charisma and the vision of the future of building something which was a reverse eBay model.
Okay.
What what I didn't realize at that point, and also I was very new to the entrepreneur journey at that point. What I didn't realize at that point is exactly what I'm sharing with you right now. They had the vision, they had a great team, they had even the backing of money, resources, and talent.
Yeah.
But there was no pragmatism. There was no short term in the long term vision. So, in the short term, a lot got burnt.
Mm.
Today, because of going through these experiences, I have come up with a model where whether it's the short term or the long term,
Mm.
I try and hedge my investments. I try and hedge what we are putting into a company or a business or a founder,
Mm.
because we also want to sustain, we also want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, in the sense that we don't want founders to get spoiled or businesses to go bad just because we funded them more than they
Yes.
needed.
Yes. I hear
So
you. Right.
that was one of my learning growth investments.
Okay. And how much approximately do you invest? Like, do you invest in the seed level or at, different levels? And what's your minimum ticket size when you look at any company to invest?
Okay. So initially, when I started my investor journey 4 years back, I would invest in the seed level, and it's called the pre-angel round or the angel round. Like pre-angel round is the friends, families, and fools,
Yeah. Okay.
because you're at a MVP stage where you're just trying and testing out. You don't really have a product market fit, and you're just kind of figuring it out based on your enthusiasm and vision to change the world.
Right.
Um, Today, we are not that. Today, a win-win situation, my fund, we go at like a mid-stage or a growth stage startup, where startups have a product market fit. They have depending on the industry, whether they have first 100 customers or they have a couple of stores, and then we can accelerate their journey to
Sure.
another level by bringing in double of those stores. So the minimum ticket size would be um, around 25 to 50 lakhs.
Okay.
And then we go,
Go up to, yeah, depending
yeah.
on the potential in the company, in your, vision in terms of how much you want to, invest in. No, I totally understand. So,
So,
Vinita, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, that's in Indian rupees.
Yeah.
So in terms of
Dollars, I think it'll be,
US dollars, it'll be
yeah,
about like
um,
35,000 dollars.
yes, yes. Cool. And are you investing currently on in Indian startups or are you looking overseas as well?
I have never invested in a startup overseas because I just feel like I am someone who needs to like touch and feel and be on the ground and open doors for you. So my biggest resources are in India, like whether it is opening like big corporate giants or making companies get their vendors or get their clients get in, even if it's a D2C product, right? And you need your first 100 CXOs, HNI clientele. It is my inner circle. So
Yeah.
I would double down on my strengths. So right now it's just been India.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, and I really hope and pray that, you make it so big that you start investing into the world as well. So, but I want to switch now the gears to the topic absolutely we both are very passionate about. There is a persistent funding gap for the women-led startup, and we know that despite of all the driving of serious innovations, everything what we had seen in the VC funding globally, I think women-led startup get around 2 to 3% of the total pie, and I think Indian startups led by women got around 5% funding in 2024, whereas the US is around 9% funding. So I really want to know that first, have you consciously invested into women-led startups? Then how many portfolios or how many companies have you impacted in your portfolio? And also, I want to take this to a next level that when you were on the Lions Den, Did you see any key differences how women founders would approach building the business compared to a men founder?
First of all, those statistics are pretty sad. I didn't know it's so low. I knew it was low, but I didn't know it's so low.
It's depressing.
Uh, yeah. Uh, but I also think that the women are so much more talented and they give very little credit to themselves, including me. I think I've been through that journey. They're so much more articulate, smart, sharp. Even have like the technical skills better than men. But
Yeah.
I think confidence, their belief in themselves is much lesser. So I think they don't make it like, what I mean by that is you would see a lot of women starting it, but the sustenance is not that much, I
Hmm.
think, because of
Yeah.
various reasons. When it comes to me investing in women founders, I actually so there are two parts to what I do. So I am in a family business where we have around 500 employees. And when I came into the business,
Mm-hmm.
we had around 20 to 30% women employees.
Okay.
And now, I think it's been almost 8 to 10 years. Uh, we have around 70% of our workforce is women.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so
So you consciously made that change.
and bear in mind, like most of them can be the blue collar workers. Like when you have an organization of such where it's a more, a capital intensive manufacturing and real
Yeah.
estate. So they can be a lot of the the statistics that I'm telling you, the
Sure.
percentages
Sure.
can come from the blue collar employees, but
It doesn't matter. It
it's
doesn't
not,
matter, which level are
yeah.
they, but if you're giving the access for women to actually just play the even field, that itself is a big deal, right?
Yeah, yeah, well said. And it's not just because I believe in women empowerment. I have seen the results. So women are less likely to jump the ship. So they're more loyal to the company that they are
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And they are much more disciplined. So they will show up on time, they will go home on time, and even the breaks that they take are very, very
Short
they're
term.
not so much distraction when they're at work because I think there is this innate need that they want to prove
Yeah.
that they are,
Yes.
have that potential of fire. They are a good worker.
Yeah.
And then the second part is where I'm empowering women. So till now, I haven't had any women founders. Every startup that I have founded, a co-founder is a
Ah,
woman, is
sure.
a woman.
Sure.
But sorry, every woman
Had a co-founder as
startup that
well.
I have founded,
Yes.
the co-founder is the woman.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, of course, we as a country, we should be doing more. We as a global, standpoint, we should be doing more. But when it comes to funding men or women, we do
Yeah.
have certain processes.
Hmm.
And and sometimes women just um, they don't sustain as much as they should to get this funding to
Hmm.
come on board as my co-founder. That
Yeah.
is what I've noticed in the last 6 months.
Sure.
On
Sure.
the show also there wasn't one startup which was say only led by women,
Hmm.
but there were many startups on the show which had a co-founder as a woman, and
A man.
so it's a spot funding reality show. So I did,
Yeah.
uh, did
Sure.
pledge to invest in them.
So it's very interesting because when you were speaking, I have so much to add on that because while I was doing my master's at London Business School, I attended one elective which was private equity, and the professor herself was actually she's a TED talk, she spoke in a TED talk, but she's actually a founder herself, and she was actually giving her example that when she was going and pitching in New York to VCs, and they would say that, do you have any man along with you as a co-founder? So she's like, no, but I wonder how many men would be asked that, right? So perhaps that also could be the reason that you're so conditioned in a way that you need a
Yeah.
man to be next to you to sustain, survive, grow. And also, what I've also noticed is when you were saying about women, when they're usually asked very negative connotation questions, like compared to the men, because 67% of the men are asked positive questions: what your growth gonna be, what's your pat gonna be, how you gonna expand this, that. But women, on the contrary, around 65% of the women, I mean, questions led to women are: what happens if you go on a maternity leave? What happens if your business failed? Do you have a man with you? What's your contingency plan? So that also sort of sometimes put you on a back seat, right, and a back burner, because you think that, okay, if there's a man, I will have to. Matlab, you have to pick fights, right? And you have to pick your battles. So maybe that could be the reason. But I think people like you, when you would be seeing a potential, you would not look as a gender that, oh, she's a woman or a man. And also very interesting, you said that, women don't really give credit to themselves, and you can try it for your own self. And I totally agree. You ask any woman that what's your strategy for a success, or who would you give credit to? 99% of the women would say, oh, my father, my mother, my
My
neighbor,
husband.
my dog, everyone but herself. And you go and ask any man, and he would say, oh, my wisdom, my this, my that. So I think it's conditioned so deeply rooted, and I think women have to start taking credit to themselves, and I do that too. I mean, I play so modest, but we don't have to do it all the time. It's good to be kind, but it's good to actually appreciate what you have or what you're doing, rather than just giving credit to everyone.
I completely agree, but there is one thing I wanted to back up to what you were saying when women are asked certain questions, right? Like about maternity leave or the negative connotation questions.
Yeah.
Um, that is, I think, one side of the story, and that is mainly when, say, it's an all men board, or if the fund is like male dominated. But like, see, if the fund, there are female members on the board, or if the founder, like, say, if you take my example, I don't think those questions will even cross my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What I have noticed, especially in the last 6 months, so I listen to 30 pitches a week.
Wow.
And what I have noticed is sometimes women come in very, very strong and delusional. Okay, they come in like, okay, we can change the world, and all they need to do is be on that path. But women have more opportunities to get distracted than men. For example, children. For example, household duties.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, they take on the pattern more than their counterpart, and
Yeah.
they get so distracted that there's such brilliant ideas and such brilliant businesses that can come to life
Yeah.
that they don't, because they can't sustain that, because they give
Right.
their priority to something else. And I have lost a lot of opportunities to fund these women because they have prioritized
Something
um,
else.
over their talent.
Yeah, yeah. Only if they treat the startup as their baby, I think they would be able to give equal and more importance to what they're bringing on the table.
I like that line.
Yeah, and it's interesting you said that, how we actually have grown up around men, and we have only seen men in boardrooms and even as a head of the house, or so we, I think, unconsciously tend to mimic that alpha male energy. And sometimes, let's be honest, that maybe that charms people too, right, in the boardroom as well. So I want to know that, have you ever subconsciously or consciously embedded that sort of characteristics? I mean, you don't come across like that, but sometimes, because I work in finance too, and in the city or back in Bombay, it's male dominated. So you tend to sort of, speak in the language or get into that vibe. Do you also do that by any chance?
Absolutely, it's India. Absolutely, it is India, and work has to be done. And you are dealing with all types of people and all people from different intellectual backgrounds, and some at a very basic level. So
Yeah.
you have to use strong language when you have to use it. You have to use the stick when you have to use it, and you have to use the carrot when you have to. And I can now, when you're saying that, I can definitely see that I've picked up a lot of qualities from my
Mm.
dad. But then where the difference comes is there is a lot of empathy also that I've
Yeah.
picked up from my mom. So there is a good balance,
Balance.
but you can definitely not ignore the
Yeah.
aggressive and the harsh side of being a business person, which is very much required just so that you are in your own authority and power.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was actually, so Gujarat is very progressive, but then I was actually managing the whole of West in one of the companies I was working for, and I was the only girl in the team of 100, and I was leading, I think, 50 people in the team, and they were from different parts of Western region and from tier 3, tier 4 cities. They would not call me ma'am, they would call everyone else boss. A and B, not that I don't care if they call me ma'am or not, but it's the conditioning, right? And then therefore they would not give me that much of respect because they've only seen women at home, maybe their mothers, maybe their wives, sisters, whatever. So they cannot give you that respect consciously or subconsciously, and therefore I had to behave like another man to get that work done. Not that I needed the respect, but because if I would be soft and empathetic and, like, okay, smile and just not say anything, then they would take me for granted and not do their job.
100%. But I think the superpower that we have as women is we pick this up very
Yeah,
quickly.
quickly. We're very agile.
And And what I tell people who come to me, like I mentor a lot of women too, and I go to colleges, schools, and institutions, and I think like this is my like biggest mission in life to like tell them to believe more in themselves, to stand up more for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest superpower we have as women is that we have so many different ways to show our power. For example, sometimes when I am not respected as much as my male counterparts, happens all the time, and I have to prove myself
Mm.
doubly hard. I also use very smart techniques to show uh, to show them who they are talking to and what all I have
Tell me one.
in my past, or what all artillery I have with me. So whether it is through your team, whether it is through social media, whether it is through any strategy that you use, I think as women we have this capability of having intelligent strategy to show how empowered we are, how valuable we are, and if they mess with us, how much they have to lose. And I
Lose.
think once you get that into the room, the equation definitely changes, the respect changes. And I would say that, like, it is very important to be respected. If you are calling other people, so you better call me ma'am.
Correct.
And if I can't, shout, like, I can't ask you to, like, I can't hold your throat to say that, then I'll use other tactics to make sure that you better say that.
No, totally, totally. Because it just, like when your team is actually so biased, you just sometimes wonder that, how you're going to deal with the clients and your bosses and everyone else. So, and also my boss once used to tell me that, oh, I have 100 boys in the team, but I have one man in my team. So he thought that he's giving me a compliment, but I corrected in front of everyone. I said, you can just say that you have 100 boys in your team and one woman in your team. I don't need to be a man to be put across at a pedestal, and he was like taken aback because I said it in front of everyone, and everyone laughed. But I was like, don't call me a man to just make me feel I'm great. I'm a woman and I can feel great too, right? So
Absolutely. And I think it's also the time of the timeline of your life. So when you are like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you can, you know, there will be so much of great empowerment and authority in your gut. And I do not mean this as your title or your position. I just mean that in your mindset
yeah,
that sometimes power comes from the most subtlest um, actions or
yeah,
words, and it I think, I mean, I believe a lot in soft power. In fact, the more I am growing, I am seeing that the times where I can show who I am without showing who I am
yeah,
uh, are the times where I've won the room. And when we stop trying too hard, I think as women, we try too hard, and of course, earlier in our career, we are also restrained. There are like a lot of restrictions around us, there's a lot of frustration. Earlier on in my career, also, I wouldn't like whatever I'm saying now, if I would have told like the 25-year-old me, she would laugh at me, right? So it only comes with the timeline in your life.
yeah,
But I think what I really admire of what you're saying is that you have that emotional intelligence even at that, like, was it your first job or,
yeah.
yeah, even at your first job, you have that, the gut, the emotional intelligence to be like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think and that also goes with their upbringing, right? I think my mother always sort of had that inculcated in me, and my father also never treated me, any less that, oh, because I'm a woman, I can't. I was given equal opportunities, and then he never saw as a bias in terms of getting the opportunity, or I'm not capable of anything. So I think you also early on you build yourself in that way, and then you are surrounded by also people who make you feel that way. So I think, and I have genuinely believed that how you perceive yourself, the world perceives you the same way. So if you think you're less, if you think you do not have something, people would think that, or maybe they'll double down on that and make you feel even more. So it's very, very important to recognize what you, and it's important to say how you feel. Like most of the people, it's funny, I'm saying this, like in my LBS class, there's a friend of mine, she comes and she tells me, how do you do this? Like, how do you say what you say and no one hates you? And I just think about something and people don't like me instantly. I said, it's maybe one, not what you say, how you say, like you said very subtly, but you convey your message. And also, I think being consistent. You can't just say something one day, 20 times you take people's nonsense, then wake up one day and they're like, no, this is not fair. I think if there is no consistency, and that's what I thought, that maybe that's what people see. And I'm just very authentic myself. You like it or leave it. I'm not going to change myself to be liked by you. If you want to like me the way I am. So, yeah, I think, and the most men then feel intimidated, but that's why maybe my dating life is really, really sad. But
You didn't find the right person who appreciates it, for sure.
yes, or celebrates me. Yeah, my parents always say that be with someone who deserves you and who celebrates you. You don't have to shrink yourself to be with someone else. Yeah. So, Vinita, I want to move to the WinVin Situation Fund and the VS Capital Ventures. You just mentioned that you've been investing into gaming, but apart from that, you've also invested into EdTech, FMCGs, different sort of logistics, and everyone currently is riding the AI wave. So, apart from that, are you seeing any sort of emerging sectors or ideas which are not on the mainstream radar right now, but which are also attracting serious capital, and or maybe where the next smart money is moving?
AI, definitely. There is no escaping an AI. And one few of my recent investments have been in, say, tech plus AI, say data analytics plus AI, like integrating AI into very serious industries like banking or BFSI or
Yeah.
um, FMCG, the softwares, but where it is like it's wrapped up around AI. Or another one that we were considering was knowing all the checkpoints of your car, but it's all AI operated. So there is absolutely no escaping AI. In fact, I think the next big thing would be to um, invest in more intelligent software, which is creating software. For example, what I mean by that is the canvas of the world,
Okay.
or where you go to the app to create
Something.
more of, of whatever you want to do. So whether it is like presentations, whether it is making music, whether it
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Real
where
video
these
content.
platforms enable you to do that. I think that is where the next big thing is, because as more and more people are becoming a lot of, like, what is emerging out of the whole AI revolution is a lot of solopreneurs. So if you can cater to those solopreneurs, you can cater to a three-team startup. You are tapping a huge market, because the Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha are moving towards that type of working where they want, like, freedom comes above everything.
Mm.
Whether they are, freelancing for your company, or whether they have their own independent company and you are hiring them as independent consultants.
Mm.
That is where I have seen, like, to give you an example, say we did have an in-house marketing team, right? A digital marketing team.
Sure.
And I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about a lot of industries. Now, what has happened is, like, we outsource it to the 20-year-olds who know so much about the whole
Yeah.
social media, much more than us, and but they have their own companies.
Oh wow.
So it's outsourced to, micro entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
any technology app, gadget which makes their life simpler is where your money is going to be. And another thing which I think I'm super passionate about, which is opposite of this, is the agriculture industry, because more and more people are, of course, moving to the whole get popular, get rich fast scheme. And there is so much of money in agri
Mm-hmm.
culture that can be tapped into, which is not, because I think we have such smart technologies, we have so much of intelligence that the traditional farmers don't have. So enabling them to do it, or whether enabling them, whether starting on your own. I keep reading about entrepreneurs who've made, like, millions of dollars on farming mushrooms or farming some kind of an exotic fruit. I think that is something very, very interesting to me.
Oh wow, that sounds very interesting. In the words of Charlie Munger, the big money is not in the buying or selling. The big money is in the waiting. And very interestingly, you actually mentioned earlier that it's when you are investing into a future. I mean, companies which are actually going to generate something in the future, they have a very futuristic 10 years horizon to create their products. How do you sort of balance between the short-term returns and also nurturing the long-term value in the high stakes or the high pressure environment by not losing money?
So, I mean, definitely there are, the Elon Musks of the world who completely invest in the future technologies and change the world, disrupt the world with, their products. Um, I am not that kind of a founder.
Okay.
I am a very safe player. I want my employees to get their salaries on time. I want their families to be upgraded within 2 years of joining
Sure.
my whether it's whether me employing them or whether me
Investing
partnering
into
with
their
them
company.
as founders. I want them to have like better cars, better houses, and that doesn't I'm not trying to say that out of vanity. I'm just trying to say that out of upgrading their families by
Mm-hmm.
having a partnership with me. So, my take on business is actually very, very traditional. That is, we are making money from day one. Sometimes, when you are in that mindset, you do not, you, I mean, there's a trade off, right? So, sometimes you are not in the business of making unicorns.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are in the business of upgrading 500 families, 1,000 families. And that is what my mission is. Like, I want their children to go to better schools within 2, 3 years of joining us. So, with that respect, sometimes I would not have 100x in my longer term growth, but
Mm-hmm.
I know every year everyone is going to have very good benefits and they're going to consistently grow every year. They're not going to be years with lows and highs and uncertainty. And
Mm.
I am not saying my way is better. I think it's in fact it's extremely non-risky and safe for an entrepreneur. But it is just where I am at this point in my life. Like I want to grow in a very foundational way where I do not like, I'm not building a house of cards.
No, that's also, I think, a very women's way of investing. They look at low risk but high return sort of investments in the listed equity space. Vinita, there is a research done by Fidelity that when there are women fund managers, they invest in very similar style because where there's where they genuinely connect with or they have lesser risk, and they outperform by point 0.5 no 0.4%. I mean 40 basis point compared to their male counterparts. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm sure you would be outperformers compared to your other male counterpart investors. And
In
also
fact,
speaking.
a lot of my counterparts, right? Like when I say counterparts, I'm part of these organizations where there are a lot of business owners, promoters, CXOs, and I know that their employees don't get salaries for a few months, or the business takes a hit, or they're not paying their rent. And I'm talking about like big businesses, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever be in that situation because I love my sleep too much. I don't
True.
think I can ever put myself or my employees, which I consider them as my extended family.
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever put my people in that situation.
Yeah, no, well said. And I totally resonate with that. Speaking of unicorns, 0.1% of the startups become unicorns, and India is, I think, around 67 unicorns. US has given around 703 unicorns, and this I speak as of last year. And China is around 340 unicorns so far, statistically. So, in your experience, what really truly separates that 0.1% from the thousands, which startup come every day? So, is it timing or talent or plain resilience, or what do you think is a secret sauce?
The secret sauce is clarity. I have had dinner and I have hung out with a lot of founders who are sitting on the $1 billion mark of hitting that in revenue for their companies, or like they are unicorns
Sure.
of India.
Yeah.
I think the clarity that they have in their personal, professional, in the small tasks and the big tasks, the clarity what they bring to the table is just phenomenal. and which is which sometimes with smaller startups they're very distracted.
Okay.
So when I say clarity, they know who to say no to. There
Okay.
is so much of clarity in that, but there is also so much of guts and courage in that, and letting go of revenue in that.
Sure.
So, taking those kind of risks through clarity, I think that's what makes a unicorn. And the second thing I would say is they grow, they pinpoint on one product or service and make it uh, like a national or a global phenomenon.
Okay.
Sometimes what happens, and it's like Surana Group is guilty of that, we have our hands in like seven different industries, let alone products and services.
Sure.
In that industry, we have like a couple of products and services. So even though we grow horizontally, right, like in so many verticals and so many industries, I don't think that we can do what a unicorn does. So
Mm,
unicorn just say, for example, if you say Swiggy, you know it's for food delivery. But
correct.
if you say Surana Group, is it telecom? Is it copper? Is it real
Yeah.
estate? Is it solar? Is it like
Yeah.
startups? You're
Yeah.
doing everything.
Yeah.
So whereas like the local people would know as like a powerful business house, nobody in Bombay and Delhi would even resonate with what is Surana Group. So if you have to become the Swiggy of the world, or the Zepto, Uber,
Yeah.
unicorns of the
Yeah.
world, I think you have to like really pinpoint on one service, whether it's like even like Pizza Hut, like even if it's like one
Mm,
F&B product that you're selling, like really zero down on that and then grow vertically.
Okay. That's. I think that's very, very, very important and very apt what you just said. I hope all the listeners are listening that. But before I let you go, I'm conscious of your time. I want to ask some rapid fire questions. No overthinking, just whatever comes to your mind, just give it to me. So, one book or idea or model which actually shaped the way you think in last 12 months.
Honestly, I would have said something like Atomic Habits or the autobiography of a yogi. But right now, something that is absolutely blowing up my mind is spending time with ChatGPT.
Oh, I'm addicted. ChatGPT has become my new best friend.
Therapist,
And Atomic
counselor,
Habits
business
is,
advisor.
I know. And I'm reading Atomic Habits. I'm in love with it. It's amazing. Non-financial book which actually secretly shaped you as an investor.
Hmm. Letting Go by David Hawkins.
Okay. The one self-care routine you do before you start your day.
I meditate, and most times I don't visualize the best version of me, or like what I want to manifest in my life. Most days it is just sitting in silence so that I can give the universe an opportunity to send me some really creative ideas that I've never thought before.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing. One piece of advice you would give it to emerging investors or first-time founders navigating in this wild ecosystem.
Start today, because you might you know hit the home run in your first startup, but as far as I know, it'll take you a lot of time to figure that out. It took me. So the more I failed, the more I succeeded. For that, I needed to start. So start today.
Okay. And you have sat on in both sides of the table. You've been in the boardrooms, you've seen the pitch deck. Like you said, you read 30 every week. What's the one red flag? The moment you see someone, before you touch the deck, you're like, okay, I'm not going to invest into this person or the company.
I think attitude, confidence is a great thing to have. Overconfidence is a overkill.
Okay, fair. Best advice you've ever received.
Know yourself.
I love that. Can you tell us a couple of sources where you get the market info, market trends, any podcast articles, newsletters you read or hear?
I am just going to say to all the listeners that listen to Binoli a lot more because I love the way she asked me questions.
I love that. I'm going to put this on and make it viral.
Other than that, I think I really admire certain people's journey. So I follow Priyanka Chopra very closely. Um,
Amazing.
and the regular chat GPT, YouTube. I think I live on YouTube. I do not Google anything anymore. I just YouTube it. And where else? Oh, yes. The biggest source of upgrading myself has been my inner circles. So get a good friend circle that elevates you, that challenges you, that makes you become a better version of yourself and not makes you shrink to a comfortable version of yourself.
Oh, I love that. And what's the one piece of advice would you like to give it to all the women who are listening today?
Um, there are going to be good days and there are going to be bad days, but every single day, dress up, and especially women, you have to dress up. Do not start working in your PJs. Dress up, be your most confident self, and don't let anyone shake that crown.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I really got like chills in my body, but I would say that too, actually. And when you dress up, it really changes your mood and your confidence and your personality and energy and everything. So when I look into the mirror, I like to see myself in that way. No, Vinita, thank you so much. It was incredibly insightful and inspiring conversation. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and also elevating the way we think about capital, conviction, and character. So I've understood that the power lies in the hands of people who have money, but I really wish and pray that more women rise to this stage so that we don't have to answer those sexist questions and we don't have to, see that, if we have a man founder with us or not, we can do it ourselves. And to all the listeners, in the words of Warren Buffett, the best investment you can do is in yourself. And I'm sure that today we got richer talking to Vinita. So, and remember, this is not just a podcast, it's a global sisterhood. It's a virtual coffee date. So be financially independent, no matter who the man in your life is, who the father is, who the husband is. But just, keep learning, keep investing, and stay powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to You Are a Force. Hit subscribe and join us next week for more powerful stories from women rewriting the rules. Until then, keep building, keep leading, and remember, you are a force.